Continuous praise to the Most High God, King of heaven and earth, even the God of our forefathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Yitzchak, and the God of Israel. To him and to him alone are all due praises. I bid you all in the tongue of our forefathers. Shalom Aleichem, Purim Tov, Purim Sameach, Tov, and all the things that we add unto it. We give thanks and praise unto the Most High God for all things, for everything. I thank the Most High God even for my life, for allowing me to be here this day, for us to even understand about the season of Purim and why we're here and what we're going to do, to understand about genocide, to understand about salvation and who salvation comes from, and to understand about how we should all together deal as a people. We give the Most High God thanks and praise for all things, for everything, even for being with us here this day. I ask that everyone rise and face the east, even as we say a prayer unto to the Most High God, and to begin to commemorate this season. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Yehovah God, God of the heavens, the God of our forefathers, even the God of Abraham, the God of Yitzchak, and the God of Israel. We give you thanks and praise, Yehovah God, this night for all things, for everything, even for blessing us to understand the season that we're in, even in the season of Purim, even in the season of the casting of the lots, even in the season when people thought to do us wrong and you thought to do us right. I give you thanks and praise, Yehovah God, for you continue to be with us in a way that is good, that you show us even in these days and times where there may be people who don't like us, where there may be people who hate us, where there may be people who think to do us harm, that Yehovah God, you put your blessing upon us, that we can find one or two people in positions of power that would think to do us right and would think to allow us to defend ourselves, even in the name of God. And therefore we ask, Yehovah God, that you continue to be with us, guide us, protect us, and bless us. Give us a heart of understanding once again. Give us a heart like Mordecai had. Give us a heart like Hadassah had, for who we also know to be as Esther. Give us our heart, Yehovah God, to understand how to deal in wisdom and not just off of emotion. Give us our heart, Yehovah God, that when we walk before you, Yehovah God, we will remember and commemorate seasons that you brought salvation to your people, how you allowed our forefathers to be here, and as a result, you allowed us to be here. Therefore, I ask Yehovah God that you bless our fathers as well as our mothers. Bless Yehovah God, our children. Bless everything in our substance, and bless everything, Yehovah God, that we do in your most high and your most holy name. Have it to be, Yehovah God, that we would never be of a failed spirit. We would never, Yehovah God, be of a spirit where we would worry, but that, Yehovah God, we will always come before you in a spirit of strength, a spirit of unity, and the spirit, Yehovah God, understanding to praise and glorify you in all times and all seasons. We call upon you because we realize that you are God and God alone, and that beside you there is no other. All glory, all honor, and all praises unto your name now forevermore. Hallelujah. Where I'm at. And brothers and sisters, you may be seated. We give thanks and praise to the Most High God for all things, for everything, even for bringing us here this night. So let's talk about Purim. Let's talk about Purim, which is also more commonly known, more commonly pronounced as Purim. Purim. What is this season about, and why should we commemorate it? You know, y'all hear me up here, and we're talking about, genocide and things of that nature, and, Haman. If we read our story, and we should have read our history concerning Haman, concerning the king, right, of the Persia and the Medes, we should have read our history about Hadassah, and we went over some of it during our Shabbat afternoon lesson, right? And Hadassah is her Hebrew name. Esther is her other name. And I'm going to say that just like that. And we were reading about how Mordecai, he was the person who he went and he was Esther's cousin, right? And because they were cousins, that was his younger cousin, and when her parents died, he went on and he took on the guardian of her. And what happened is that we remember Queen Vashti. And with Queen Vashti, you know, she was a beautiful form. She was the queen, and the king loved her, but she had messed up. She had fell out of favor with the king. And how did that happen? That happened because the king, he had called for her to come, and she didn't want to come. Now, if we remember this story, there was a whole 150-day feast, 180-day feast, somewhere around there, right? And as they were doing everything that they were doing, and the king, she had her own banquet going on. The king had his banquet going on, but the king summoned her to come, and she refused. And that was a no-no. And I want us to remember this. God sets up times and seasons for all of us without us realizing what's going to happen down the road. Queen Vashti thought she was just refusing to be summoned by the king. She thought she was just refusing to not go to her husband because he just wanted to show her off before all his friends. But the reality is that God was setting up a position to be open so that the future queen, Hadassah, Queen Esther, could make her way in and wrought salvation for the children of Israel. Now, I want to talk about that for a while because what we don't understand is that sometimes where God is dealing with us in a certain way, we don't understand why things are happening in our lives the way they're happening. We see things happen. We see people move. We see situations occur in such a way that we're kind of like, oh, wow, that's what's going on. Because for a queen to be removed, that's big news. That's big stuff. That's not little stuff. And so when the queen was removed, the whole nation heard about this. Mordecai heard about this. Hadassah heard about this. Haman heard about this. Everybody knew what was going on. And if we remember what I taught on Shabbat, what was more so taught, what was more so had to be understood was that you had a situation where they sent out letters to everybody about what was going on because the other leaders under the king did not want their wives going through what the king had just went through. The other leaders didn't want that their wives might disrespect them, like how Vashti disrespected her husband. And so when that happened, when all of that went on, we had to stop and look at the situation and go, man, these guys really wanted to shut down this situation. They wanted to ensure that nothing like this happened ever again. So what went on after that? They went and they found for the king a new wife. And we don't like that, right? You're like, wait a second. We went and got the king a whole new wife, a brand new wife. But that's what they felt that they needed to do to ensure that the king wouldn't yearn, wouldn't miss his wife anymore. God set the situation that the king lost his wife so that as time went on and as things happened, Hadassah would make a way in. Do we understand God working like that in our lives? That there's something happening for somebody else somewhere down the line so that you can move in and be blessed, or so that you can move in and prosper? We don't think about that. Sometimes we have situations where somebody got fired for you to be hired. Think about that. And I say for us, a lot of times when we deal with these situations, it's kind of like somebody got fired for me to be hired? Now I know there's some of y'all out there that's like, yeah, that's right. That's what I need in my life. There's some of y'all right now that's like, I need a job, right? So I need for that to happen. But what we're gonna have to understand is the way God works. It's never malicious. It's never facetious. It's never any of those things. What actually ends up happening is that when these situations occur, the person that this happened to already deserved it. The person that's going through whatever they're going through, they already deserved it. So speaking of deserving it, wicked Haman came along. How many of us remember Haman? And so for wicked Haman, he was the pinnacle of self-involved, egotistical, thinking everything was about him because he wanted to be king. He was second in charge. And so when he looked at these things, he thought that the king thought nothing higher, thought that was there was nothing higher than him. Do we know people like that as Israelites? Of course we do. We know people that can be very much that self-involved. And so when that happens, we should learn our lesson from Haman, right? That there are actually people who are more preoccupied. Losing the word there. There are people who are more preoccupied with power than with servitude. If you're a leader, you should be more interested in serving the people and the needs of the people than thinking about yourself. Haman's issue was he had what he wanted, but he wasn't satisfied with what he had. And we see that a lot with us. And sometimes we can look in the mirror and say, I'm that person. I'm not satisfied with what I have now. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with ambition. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with setting lofty goals. But you have to know where your blessing lies. And every time your blessing doesn't lie in you being that definite person. Sometimes your blessing lies in being the person to help the person who is in charge. Sometimes that's your blessing. And that should be enough. We're getting there. We're slowly making our way toward that point. What do I want to remind you of? Do you remember the priest Jehoiada? Do you remember the king Jehoash? Those two, Jehoiada was the priest and he was a grown man. And he took a 7-year-old boy and sat him on the throne of Israel and made him do good all the days that he was alive. That's a blessing in and of itself. And that's a blessing in and of itself only because we can stop and we can see that there's a point of helping people in such a way where if I can't do it, maybe you could do it. Maybe you can do it. Maybe you can do it. Why is that? All of that coincides because when we looked at Mordecai, he actually did the same thing that Jehoash and Jehoiada did, right? He took his niece and he put her in a position to sit her on the throne. And let me not say on the throne as queen. She wasn't there, but that's what he did. How many of us actively look to see people who we can help? And then how many of us look to see people who we can actively help as Israelites? Have you thought about a child you could help make a better Israelite? Have you thought about a person who you see struggling? The phrase I want us to walk away with tonight is support system. Mordecai was Hadassah's support system. Jehoiada was Jehoash's support system. Who was Moses' support system? Come on, y'all. A lot of us would say the Most High God, right?
Okay.
But Aaron and Miriam were his support system. Don't look away from your brother and your sister. The Levites stood with him, you know. They didn't like him. They, you know, it's that thing about being in charge. I'm just telling you, you will have people who don't like you. The Levites had problems with him, but they stood with him, even when he had problems. I'm saying that because the rest of the nation, as things were being set up, as Mordecai was dealing with, he was dealing with, when Haman went by, did Mordecai bow down to him?
No.
Absolutely not. Why should I bow down to him? Who is he? He's not God, he's not my king, and he's not of my people. This is what we deal with. I'm telling us this as we look at this, because soon as Haman didn't like that, he didn't like any of the other Israelites. Does that happen to you in your job? Did one Israelite mess it up for everybody? Let me bring it closer to home. Can one black person mess it up for everybody? We see we see stuff like that. It's one person, and now the person who's in charge hates everybody who they think is like you. Another term I want us to walk away with tonight: religious persecution. Religious persecution. Does that happen? Has that been happening to us? And so when those things happen, we have to learn to be smarter and be wiser. Mordecai, he stood up as a Hebrew and he was unwavering. Hadassah, he told her, ensure you don't tell anybody who your people are. Do we understand that?
Okay.
What was happening there? Don't let them know who you are until I tell you to do so. Fast forward through the story, Haman wanted to kill all of the Hebrews. They set up a situation where everybody on a certain date, they would be able to come and kill by law. By law, you could kill a Hebrew with absolutely no problem. What happened after that, brothers and sisters? The king found out what Haman was doing. He ended up killing Haman because of the things that he did. But now there was a law created that people could have free reign on the Hebrews. And what happens with most laws in most countries? Once the law is enacted, you can't just up and reverse it. So what did the king have to do? And how did God bless that king? What'd you say?
Put out a new edict.
Put out a new edict. He created a law on top of the law. Okay, y'all can kill Hebrews on this day because I already wrote it into the law. But now I also write into law, every Hebrew can defend himself without persecution. So yeah, you can come for me, but if he happens to kill you while he's coming for you, it's not against the law. Do we see in this very country that we live in that there was a point in our history where we could see people hanging from trees and it would just be nothing?
Yes.
Nobody would ask questions. Nobody say anything. And as a matter of fact, you'd be thinking, I wonder what he did. Was he a runaway slave? Did he talk back to his master? Did he not make it back before sundown? Did he not have his traveling pass? I want y'all to understand about blackness and how we evolved. There wasn't always a point where we could stand proud in who we were. It was a point where this is what you are and this is what you're supposed to be doing. And if you're not doing that, this is what I'm going to do to you. And so our forefathers in this history and why we commemorate this season and this time and all the things happening is because as we got to that point, we fought back. And remember that tonight. Never be afraid to fight back.
Amen.
And when we fought back and when we see that God gave us the victory, it gave us more strength within us to have resolve, to understand that even though people think to do us harm, that the Most High God will bless us. Because by all stretches of the imagination, if it wasn't for God, we should have lost. But we didn't. We continued to fight and we continued to do what we had to do. And as a result, when we seen that, what did we do? And I'm going to end off with this. After we saw we won the war, what did we do? We celebrated before God. God, we gave gifts to one another. We sent portions to one another to eat and things of that nature. And we thank God for the salvation that he gave. And that's what we want in these days and times. And so we're going to end off the portion because I promised y'all I wasn't going to talk a lot tonight. We're gonna enjoy one another, and we're gonna sit down and we're gonna have the food and all the other things that we have. I ask that the Most High God continue to bless us. I thank everyone who came out this night and for what we're gonna do. And the only thing I'm gonna say is I want us to remember to give honor and praise to the Most High God in all times and all seasons. And don't be afraid. Do not be afraid to celebrate God just because it's not written in Leviticus 23. You can't make it a holy day, but there's nothing wrong with celebrating God in his times and his seasons. Amen?
Amen.
Amen. All right. So we're in the season of Purim. Got a couple of things going on here. So, unbeknownst to y'all, does anybody have a pen? Nobody? All right. Somebody in here got a pen. I only got a dry erase marker here. That's good. I got a surprise for everybody. Yeah, I know we got dinner, but so okay. This is how we gonna do this. Y'all ready? There's a paint and sip happening this weekend. And there will be 2 tickets purchased for that paint and sip. If you can guess the number. And I'm such a nice guy, and this will be my Purim gift to the people involved. And since I'm such a nice guy, I'm going to give the people who are in attendance 2 shots to guess the number. Okay?
What number?
So I'm not gonna. You said what number? You got to guess the number. Yeah, listen. Hold on. You're gonna pick a number between 1 and 100. You have 2 opportunities to write it down. Now, to keep everything fair, so y'all don't think I'm just trying to get out of my Purim gift, right? I am going to take a picture. I'm gonna screenshot it. And I am going to send it to a brother in this room, but I'm scheduling the message. So the message won't get to you for another 10 minutes. Sound fair? They're like, yeah, I think so. Now, y'all do want to pay and sip, right? Yes, no? Okay, all right. Hold up. Do. You got both your phones? I don't know. Select. All right. Done. Yeah. Add. Schedule message. And the time is now 7:50, so I'm going to set it for 8:01. 8:01. Done. And done. All right. Who wants to try to guess first? Uh-oh. Young lady. You old enough to sip and paint? All right. Pick a number between 1 and 100.
Any number between 1 and 100. Just pick one. What?
Okay, that's not it.
7.
Nope.
That's the number I always
I think y'all kind of knew I was going to pick 7. I think y'all kind of knew. Come on. Uh-oh. So we got 15 and 75 from offline, and both of those are not correct.
27.
27 is not correct. Anybody? Yeah. I think they waiting for the rest of y'all. What'd you say?
49.
First winner. First winner. 1 ticket. Go ahead. 5. Nope. Got 1 person eliminated. And incorrect. You know, if you got both, I'd have been like, because your wife won the soup cook-off last year. So, like, yo, what's going on here? Just setting stuff up. Second person eliminated. 22 is incorrect.
What was the first winning number?
The first winning number was 49. Oh. So, wait, I'm missing some people online. Aisha Frazier says 17 and 63. Aisha Frazier, I'm going to give you another guess because 17 was already chosen. Both of those numbers are incorrect. Jared Judah says 5 and 25. Jared, I'm going to give you another guess because 5 was always already chosen. That is incorrect. 25. Shamira says 24. That is incorrect. Oh, we got a winner online. Shamira says 83, and 83 is correct. 83 is correct. So, 2 winners tonight. Congratulations to Brother Aish and a coach Shamira. You each have tickets to the Sip and Paint this weekend. Disclaimer, that is only based off the fact that I can purchase these tickets before the end of tonight, or else you will get the value of the ticket. Okay, and we have some children here tonight. So, y'all feeding. All right. Because I'm such a nice guy, I have a super archery kit here. And Yasha was like, yo, you should have let me get that, but I'm not going to let him get it. So which one of you want this super archery kit? No, I'm talking to the children. All right, I'm going to help y'all out. There's 2 here. So one of y'all get one and one of y'all get the other. But if you don't come up here in the next 10 seconds, you're not going to get it. So, because you got here first, you get the bigger one. God bless you. And you get the smaller one. God, it's all right. God bless you. Take it. All right. Okay, everybody. We thank everyone else for joining us. Jared, you didn't hear me say? Shamira got it. 83. She did it. 49 and 83. When H gets this text message in a minute, he'll verify, and everybody got it. We thank everyone for joining us this night. Shalom to you as well, my brother. And we're going to eat. And I'm just going to let y'all know, when I invite y'all out, come out. Because I got 6 sweet potato pies here. And I'm sure Aish is taking one home. And somebody's going to take another one because I don't even eat sweet potato pie like that. We got some vegetarian coconut chicken. We got some veggie ribs. We got some sticky wings. And we got what the rest of y'all bought. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. We will see y'all later. Peace and blessings. Let's get the music started. Lala Tov, everyone.